Hello everybody, how are you doing? I am out in the shop for a very short period of time, and what I wanted to do was kind of go over some of the items that were in those boxes that I received from the buddy of mine. I showed the boxes in the video I did last night, and there were a bunch of responses from people saying, hey, what's in those boxes? Go through them, let's see what you got. So I've kind of laid the stuff out on the table saw, and I'm going to flip the camera around and just kind of go through it. There's some stuff that's turning related. There's some stuff that's not. There's some stuff that's kind of like, where does this fit in? But it's just a bunch of really great stuff. Some of it I'm going to keep and use. Some of it I'm going to give away. So, bear in mind I am working towards some giveaways. I showed a box over here I have, and some of these items I don't need, and I'm going to pass them along. Instead of just letting them sit and collect dust, we're going to pass them along to somebody who'll use them. So let me flip around and show you what all came in those boxes. Let's start out in the back. We have a 1-gallon jug of denatured alcohol. It feels like it's full. It's fairly heavy. We have some Mylan's cellulose sanding sealer, some Mylan's high build friction polish, some Valen's wood turners finish. That came highly recommended from my buddy. We have some Turner's Magic Super Gloss. This is a friction polish. A little Homer Formby's tongue oil. I have some Trans Tint. This one is reddish brown, and this one is honey amber. We've got 3 cans of Deft Clear Gloss Wood Finish. These are unopened full cans. This stuff is a little tough to find around here, so I'm excited to have that. It's great for larger projects. There's a full can of white lithium grease, about a half a can of dry moly lubricant. We got a polyacrylic blend finish, some Valen's wood blush eraser, Tarnex, brand new bottle of Tight Bond Quick and Thick multi-surface glue, some Ozium, this is air sanitizer. I've got a little Bartley's wood filler, and this is Miller's rubber repair kit. Back over to this side of the table, these are all spindles for the spindle sander. Now they are about an inch and a half too tall for my spindle sander, but that's not a big deal. I have the rubber insert that will fit these perfectly. I could just always cut the top off, or really with a spindle sander, usually sanding down low, I can just use the lower end up and then flip them over and use both ends. So those are going to be great. There's some long spindles there. These will all fit on my spindle sander. There's a belt back here which won't fit on my spindle sander, but I can always cut that and use it at the lathe. There are 4 of these spindles that you can use on, say, a drill press, and several bags of papers or discs drums for these drum sanders. This is kind of neat, and I want to use this very soon. This is Blade Saver. It's pitch eliminator. I want to use that on my table saw, and I want to use it on a couple of my router bits. I think that's going to be very handy to have in the shop. Below these drums is a huge eraser. These things are awesome. The one I have is only about 2 inches long now because I've just wore it down from using it. If you have a belt, a disc, a spindle sander, any type of a sander, these will lengthen the life of your sanding paper, because it just takes all the gunk off the paper and cleans it up. Here's some, this is called, it says Brad Pin. It's just a multi-purpose lubricant. There's a really nice oil stone here. I do not have one of the tools that uses this, but this is one of those cutters where you can get in and cut, up close, like say the bottom of a door frame or something. I don't have the tool for that, and it also comes with the sanding disc, and these are just a couple of, that's like a Scotch-Brite pad, and that's just a foam pad. I'm not sure what to do with those. One of the really cool tools that I cannot wait to test out is this Brown's Best gouge, and I kind of showed this the other day. It is a gouge with the side ground out of it, and you use this for turning any type of, say, a finial. It's very tight turning, lets you get into some very tight places. There is a 3/8 inch and a 1/2 inch lathe dowel chuck. These are awesome. You run through your headstock and you tighten down the all thread with this knob back here, and it closes up the spring chuck. I got some buttonholes here. These are little wooden buttonholes. Not sure what I'll use those for. As we move across the table, I have a spring, a door closer spring that was in there. Brand spanking new, never been used. I don't have a clue what this is at all. I just don't even know. Perhaps one of you do and can enlighten me. Here is another cutter for that tool that back there. I have a really nice fence for a table saw. What you do is you mount these two bars, one on the front of your table saw bed and one on the back, and then this fence goes between them. Now this may be too big for my table saw, but I am going to try and see if it will fit. I got a nice assortment of some blanks here. There's a couple of like acrylic esters. That looks like it might be acrylic. Some nice woods. Just some cutoffs that he had laying around. This is like a Spectraply blank. This is really cool. This is a little Lufkin 12-foot tape measure. I love these little ones. They fit in your pocket and they're incredible for small jobs. I got this brand spanking new. This is a 33/64" brad point bit. There were a couple of pin kits that he found as he was cleaning up. He gave those to me. Looking forward to turning those. A couple of sets of bushings. This is what I went over there for to get my tool rest for my lathe. And this is, of course, one of the tools for the lathe. This is a spare belt for the lathe. And he found the instruction manual, so I'm happy to have that. Here's a little display box that he gave me. It's a beautiful little box. Got a little dust on it, but I'll be able to use that to display one of my nice pens. He gave me this this plunge bar. I have a DeWalt 618 plunge router. It's the 1/2 inch, I do believe, or 3/4 inch. It's the larger one, I forget. This will fit it, and it's a plunge bar. You can hold onto the bar, and you plunge your router by squeezing your hand with your thumb. It gives you better control over the router. And there were a couple other things, like these are for like a router table. This is for a router table, so you can adjust the depth up and down. There were some spare parts, a spare 1/4 inch collet, and some other parts that he had with his 618 router. He also gave me this. It's an 8-inch ceramic aluminum disc. Now this is an 80 grit disc. It's the blue disc for an 8-inch grinder. So I'm happy to have that. And the last thing he gave me, which is really awesome, is this storage box. And let me show you this thing. I hope you can see it well. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 24 individual containers in there. You open this up, and each one of these little boxes is independent. And you could put bushings in them and put a label on the outside of the box. So if you drop your box and it bounces open, you don't lose all your bushings. They're in individual containers. This is going to get put to use very soon. It's also far more compact than the box that I used. So we're going to get this put into use immediately. And I said this was all that he gave me. He did give me one more thing. I was on my way to the gas station to pick up a gallon of gas for the mower. And since he is moving and will not be mowing at his new property, he gave me a 5-gallon gas can that had about 2 gallons of gas in it. So I won't have to make as many trips to the gas station. Plus it's the older style gas can, which has the nice flexible spout, whereas all the new ones have a hard spout, and you've got to press a button and push the little spout back into the can to get it to work, and they're a pain to use. So I'm really happy to have that. I really hope you enjoyed seeing that. Had a lot of you guys wanting me to turn the camera on that stuff. I just didn't have time last night. There's a lot of stuff there that really doesn't make any sense for my shop, but the reason why it's there is the stuff he was giving me, it was all in boxes, and there was other stuff that he had just thrown into the boxes because, like I said, he was just getting rid of everything because he's done with this hobby. He's cleaning out, and he and his wife are moving, and he just wanted to get rid of everything. So I don't need it all, and some of it will be coming up in the future as giveaways on this channel or my main channel. And I will keep you posted when that happens. So if you guys have ideas, I'm still looking for a great way to give stuff away. And what I'm after is I want to make sure that you, the people who watch these videos all the time, are the ones who are having the chance to get the giveaways. I'm trying to avoid those drive-by folks. I could tell you some stories, but I won't get into it. I don't know that I'm going to do much else tonight. But I have been thinking about the shop. Oh, by the way, my wife loved the Adirondack chair. Absolutely loved it. Only change she wanted, I think I might have said this, she wants the back to be about 6 inches higher. She likes a real high back. on the back of the chair, okay? So I drew the plans up last night. I've redesigned them. Everything is ready to go. Those plans were for a 3/4 inch chair. I use 5/4 boards, which are an inch thick. So I had to adjust some of the measurements, but that was the beauty of making that. I took measurements. I know exactly how many screws I need, exactly how many carriage bolts, nuts, washers, blah, blah, blah. And I've got it all written down. It's just a matter of when we can get out to the hardware store and buy that stuff. The other thing I'm doing, I want to give you guys some a little insight. Let me flip the camera around and kind of show you some of the other things I'm thinking about doing for the shop, because I think it's going to be really cool. Over here below the window, I talked about getting rid of this sandpaper sorter. I am 99% sure that I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to build a little platform there. One side of the platform will be my air conditioner so that I can easily vent it to the window. The other side of the platform is going to be my shop vac, and hopefully I can work it into where I can get the blue barrel in. This lathe, my metal lathe, I've decided is going to go under the shelf. What used to be there is my router. I've had my router out using it. I want to be able to use that tool more. This corner is full of hoses and this burl. I'm going to put the router in this corner. The burl, I talked to a buddy of mine, Corey, and I think at some point when things clear, we're gonna chop that baby up into blanks. I'm gonna give him a bunch of blanks for help, and we're gonna use his saw. He's got a great saw for it. And I'll take some of the blanks, so we'll have plenty of awesome burl wood. And then the hoses we'll find a new spot for. But the router's gonna go there. Over on this wall, this table, which is just, it doesn't serve any purpose there, is going to butt up against my lathe, my wood lathe, as a work table that I can pull out into the floor, and I can just use the top, to work 360 degrees around. I think in this corner here is going to be my planer. So I'm going to free up that section over there a little bit. I think I'm going to continue to leave the maker cart in front of the door. Things are kind of messed up right now because I've been working on the Adirondack chair. The maker cart is going to stay there, and I'll pull it out when I need it. And I think what this is going to do is give me a lot more room in the shop and make tools more accessible. The other cool thing is I've also got this this port right here that I can very easily plug into the router or the planer, and I'll be more apt to use them if I'm not worried about them making a huge mess. Now, those are the base changes that I'm making. I'm still adjusting the shop, and I still anticipate there being more things moved around, but I'm just trying to get this corner to be my turning corner, and everything turning related I want in that corner. This corner over here, I want this to be more, the woodworking area where I cut stock and I shape stock and that, because I got my sanders and all that stuff there. So that's what I'm working towards. And I hope over the course of the next couple of weeks to really start putting the time and effort into getting that in place. Well, that's pretty much it. I didn't do a lot in the shop today. I kind of anticipated getting out here a little bit more, but my wife and kids, we just kind of had a nice, quiet Easter Sunday. By the way, all of you that celebrate Easter, I would like to wish you a very happy Easter. It's not the kind of Easter we're used to. Normally we have a house full of people. We have a nice big lunch, and that didn't happen. We did have some fun today, though. We did an Easter egg hunt with the kids, which, my kids they're older, but it was still fun. We put a bunch of Easter eggs out in the yard full of candy and sent them out, running around the yard. And it's more of a competition to them. They could care less about what's in the eggs. It's about who gets the most eggs. You know what I mean? So they had a ball with that. And then we filmed a little video for the other channel. We did a taste test on 5 sodas. It's just something we did for fun. We've been wanting to do it for a while, but everybody's going in so many different directions. We didn't have a chance to do it. With us being quarantined in a little bit, all of the other activities are gone. So we're fighting boredom, and it was the perfect time for us to do that. So we had a great time with that. It's just been a real low-key day. I look for the evenings this coming week as I get off work to be a great time to get out into the shop. I don't think the Adirondacks will start anytime soon because of the inability to get to the hardware store. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I hope I have enough wood to get started on this little stand over here. If not, I can just leave the stuff sit on the floor. But we're going to start moving stuff around the shop and trying to get a more comfortable, a better flow in the shop. And then, of course, I have to find places for all this new stuff to go because I just got the shop cleaned up, and now it's time to, I want to make sure everything has a place. So we're going to start working on that as well. But that's pretty much it for me, guys. Have a great evening. Have a happy Easter, and we will talk to you again very, very soon. Hopefully tomorrow after work.